I think one of the key aspects of the COTS development was a shared investment between the government and industry, and that government contribution, as I mentioned earlier, really uh, helped us convince us to invest the funds that we did, non-recurring funds that we contributed for the development of the launch vehicle. And then also, the funds were also used to directly finance the development of the spacecraft and then the demonstration launch. So, I think the contributions from the government also, were really dependent. The Space Station Program Office really needed to make this transition with the shuttle retiring. They had a forecast out there that they were going to carry up a lot of logistics on the last couple shuttle flights, which they did. But then they needed us to be there, ready to pick up the slack with the other entities. So I think they saw their investment and they wanted to protect that and give us the best chance of succeeding. We were able to tap into outside expertise that the NASA JSC arranged for us when we had a particular problem that required expertise that we couldn't just find in industry. Things such as turbo machinery expertise out of Marshall Space Flight Center. There was another example of particle impact testing in a liquid oxygen environment that White Sands test facility did for us. Those are examples of the type of facilities and the type of help that we received from NASA as we were going through the project when we had some particular technical real challenges that we had to overcome. The COTS project team, as I mentioned, it was very lean, but they were up in our facility basically all the time or close to all the time. And Bruce Manners and Kevin Meehan were great to work with. They were very helpful. They tried to stay out of our hair when they could. They told us when they needed more information, and we tried to be as open as we could with them. We gave them access to every piece of information that we could. We gave them drawings, specs, test reports, data from tests, anything they needed. We tried to be very open with them. And I think that's a level of trust that we developed with them. There was this insight clause that we would provide them insight into the design and the operations and so on. And we took that very seriously. We knew that that they needed to satisfy in their internal customers with project status to be able to say that we were on track, to give information when there was a problem, and help. We needed to help them help us, explain the situation up the chain. So I think, we understood that, and we tried to be very open with them. And I think that worked very well. A lot of good interchange with them and good communication on a weekly or even daily basis. And when we did have some technical challenges, they were able to tap into the array of technical expertise within NASA at different centers. For example, Marshall Space Flight Center has turbo machinery experts. They also have materials labs that are really unparalleled with a lot of expensive gear that's hard for a commercial company to replicate, and a lot of experience from the shuttle solving problems that delayed some of the shuttle flights. And having those folks come in and help us work through some of the problems we had with our rocket engines and solve those ultimately was very beneficial in giving us a path forward. That also allowed NASA to gain additional insight and confidence in the development and the launch vehicle by having their expertise applied from other centers.